Good morning, bushcraft people and knife lovers. I was tagged by John Bishop, who's a content creator on my channel, and a few other guys to answer what was in my hip pouch that I touched on in my haversack video the last time. So I just decided it's a Sunday morning, the kids are in bed, or the kids are napping, and I decided to come up and just make a quick video before I headed out for the day of what I carry on my hip. So we'll start with what I'd put on my hip, or what I choose to put on my hip. Now I'm a knife collector. I have nice knives. Some of them too expensive to be taken out and beaten, and I do buy and sell them all the time. But I do have knives that are personally my own, and that I like to carry in. And the ones that I find that I carry the most are these two, the Quick Catch Trapper and my PLSK1. Now I have the PLSK1 rig set up because if I'm going, I do go to Sweden sometimes, or Norway, or week-long kind of excursions. This would be the knife I'll take, just because its compactness and it's pretty robust, and it's sentimental, so I don't want to take it out and keep smashing it up. It's a 1 of 10 that were given away at a Pathfinder Gathering raffle. Normally you can only get them in OD green, but if anyone is interested in getting a PLSK1 and you find that the PLSK1 is just too pricey, I mean it's nearly a $300 knife, and it only comes in green micarta, you can go on to Blind Horse Knives, Battle Horse Knives website, and they sell the PLSK1, because what the PLSK1 or the PLSK stands for is the Pathfinder Logo Series knife, which just means that it has the Pathfinder logo on the presentation side. But if you go on to Battle Horse Knives website, it is called the Highlander H1, and you can get it in Scandi or High Saber and different handle colorations, and it's about $100 cheaper when it comes in BHK sheets, which I absolutely love because they're probably the easiest sheets to wet form, and they've got good high quality leather. But that'd be number one when I go on long excursions, because I have it set up that it's got a Instafire there, because when I go on these long Norwegian or Scandinavian trips, I like to go off for day hikes, so I can just throw my hip pouch and I got my knife, and I'm covered if I get into trouble. So that's my expedition knife, if you want to call it that. But the knife that I carry most on overnighters and day hikes is my Quick Catch Trapper by Brenton Good. Sheets are just outstanding. I mean, seriously thick leather. And this is a trapper that he modified for me. This is possibly alright. We can argue about aesthetics later, but just ergonomics and performance, probably one of the best knives that I've ever owned. It can chop, and it chops well. It's not like a tracker. I'm not a fan of trackers, and I'm not poo-pooing anybody that is, but a tracker does a lot of stuff but doesn't do them well. You know what I mean? It'll baton, it'll feather stick, and then you've got so many grinds going on. I personally just am not a fan of it, but this would be as close to what like a tracker would be. It's got a 6-inch blade. It's thick enough. It's 5 mil thick, and it's tool steel, so it'll chop. The handle is, I don't like using lanyards, but it'll chop. It'll food prep. It's fine enough to handle. The video won't do the handle on this knife justice, but it's got so many edges and angles, and when I first saw it I was like, how can that handle work? But when you hold it in your full grip, it's gorgeous. It's got, you can see here, like a rise up and a rise down, so it sits perfect for different pinch grips. It's got thumb scallops. The blade is big enough that you can choke up on it. You can rest your thumb on it. You're not hitting any edges. You're doing what you need to do. It's just an all-round fantastic knife. Brenton Good makes excellent blades, and the reason why I say this is a modified trapper, and I'll get off knives. I'm just a knife guy. I could talk about knives all day. is Brenton does two models of knives. He does an extra large trapper, which is or the Trapper XL, which is a 6-inch blade, but it's more like the PLSK one. It has a French trade knife design, kind of a stubbier handle, longer blade, and looks more like a pioneer's knife. And he also makes the Trapper, which is this model. But people often ask me, Joe, what knife is that? And I say it's an extra large trapper or a large trapper or a modified trapper, because this is a 6-inch. I think his trapper is normally a 5-inch. You can correct me, if you can jump in the comments and correct me if I'm wrong. But this is a longer blade, and it just fits that niche perfectly. Some people prefer 4 inches and stuff, but I find that 6 inches, just 5.5, 6 inches, just hits the mark perfectly at a knife that can do what you need it to do. So there you go. That'd be my most carried knife. Absolutely stunning blade from a great maker. I'd recommend go and check him out. Even just look at his work. Sometimes follow him on Facebook, and he throws up, he does desert ironwood combinations and different steel combinations, and his daughter also makes knives, and that's a great way to pick up a cheap, you're hearing it here first, but you can pick up half price versions of these knives on Brenton's Facebook page at Quick Hatch. Now, unfortunately, again, if I don't know if Brenton will get a chance to watch this, I was never given a fire steel loop option. Maybe he does, maybe I didn't ask. So when I'm carrying this, I carry this. You've seen it in my other videos. It's just a fire steel. I don't need to carry it on my expedition rig, but that normally be what is on my hip most of the time. Moving on, we got my pouch. Now, the reason this isn't a minimalist kit, I don't pretend for it to be a minimalist kit, because when I go on day hikes, I'll throw maybe a small Mora into the bag, and then I'll throw this into my bag and a bottle of water, and off I go. And that includes if I'm going to hike up the Sugarloaf, or if I'm going for a walk to the Hellfire Club, or if I'm just out on a hike with friends. This will be what I bring. So this is first aid, it's fire, it's got medications, it's got cordage, it's the 5 C's minus the knife. And just a quick rundown off the top of my head, I could make a mistake here, but it's cordage, combustion, compass, cutting, cover, possibly. Again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I'm just rattling it off the top of my head, but they're kind of covered in here. A container, there we go. So I'll open it up and I'll get into it. If for those that are curious, this is Paul Door's hip pouch. This is a standard model he runs. Very cheap, very affordable. I've had this 2 years, I want to say, and it's been sat on and scraped and dragged through bush, and it dropped, and great robust pouches, great stitching. I've actually had to bandage this up because I wear it so often that I actually burst this thread up here, and I just stopped doing that because of where I carry it on my hips. Plus, I think his latest model comes with that'd be the only criticism I have, is that I actually have to take my belt off when I get to the forest. Like at the back of the car, I take my belt off, whereas like I try my best to get all my belt accoutrement with button snap closures. So I think Paul's latest model comes with button snap closures. I'll tag him in this video, and he can correct me again if I'm wrong. But very affordable and just very robust piece of kit. So I have it split up. You can see there the orange bandana I use as a divider, and at the back I keep medical supplies, and in the middle I keep my fire starting stuff, and then at the front I keep my cordage. And like I said, it's not heavy. It's not going to pull my trousers down. But this is just, I can't be bothered swapping kit in and out for the amount of times that I'm in the woods. So they're just kind of, it is what it is. And if you noticed in my haversack video that I didn't have first aid kits and stuff like that in there, so this is kind of would be a supplement to my haversack kit. Carrying it on my waist allows me to free up some space in the haversack. So the first thing I carry is a compass. Now, again, it's part of the 5 C's, but not always needed. You know, if you go to a forest that you know and you're only going to a specific area. But I like to practice this. I was out I never saw the value in having a compass, but I was out on a hike with Tom Malloy, a good friend, and if only for he had map reading skills, we would have been in bad juju. So that inspired me to go off, and now I actually enjoy practicing with this. I'll pull into a forest, into a car park, I'll get out and I'll go for a walk, and then I'll stop. I'll take a reading on my compass so I can practice how to read it. I'll dial it in, and then I will literally just veer off and head off in a random direction. Not far, I'll time it, and then when I stop, I'll try and find my way back. And this is also a really nice way of finding new spots to camp, because many people won't wander off the beaten track. So when I get to a spot in the forest, I can mark it, and then I can head off. And then because I have all my map readings, I'm able to know exactly where I'm going. And I also use View Ranger, I won't lie. Again, a fantastic app that Tom Malloy showed me. So the first one that comes out is Compass. It's one of the 5 C's covered. And then in the back, nice and handy, is my first aid equipment. And I just keep some plasters, just to show you that I'm not pulling them off the floor. I keep steri strips. I watch a lot of first aid videos. I always find it very interesting what people carry in their first aid, because like your haversack, people have different accidents and different injuries, so people carry different things for different reasons. And I cut my hand up pretty badly one time with a bow saw. I split it from knuckle to knuckle while I was out in the forest with some friends, Colin Reddy and Bernard Nulty. And only for I had these, which I at the time would just chew in because they were just handy to have, but only for I had these, my hand would have been a lot worse. The bow saw just opened me up, and the guys were able to put me back together fairly easily. Using these, I think you get a box of 10 for €8, and they weigh nothing, and they're a great addition to have. We can all be Rambo and use duct tape and pine pitch, but sometimes you just want to get it done fast. So I carry a couple packs of them, because just in case. I carry a Adaptic. This stuff is like false skin. It's great for burns, and scrapes, and abrasions. You can place this over it. It's a fine mesh, and it's breathable. And then when you remove it, it doesn't remove the skin with it. It's fantastic here. I carry various plasters just for nicks and scrapes. Plus, like I seen a guy scald himself really badly across his thumb with tea. Just accidentally was sitting down and spilled tea all over himself. It can happen. We're out in the woods, and this stuff is a lifesaver because it's non-adherent. So he's able to just put it over his thumb, put some non-adherent dressing over it. The following day he was as right as rain. Was able to remove the dressing when he got back home, and it didn't tear away any of the freshly formed skin and stuff. Water tablets, burn gel, doesn't need explanation. And diorite. I carry 3 packets because normally I go away for overnighters or 3-day hikes, so I carry enough for one bottle a night, or in this case if I'm on a hike, just in case of emergency. Now when I go on an overnighter or a 3-day hike or an expedition holiday of 2 weeks, I'll drink one of these every night. I always carry a graduated water bottle with me with the Pathfinder cup, and with the Pathfinder bottle it's the cup. It has graduated measures in it, and if it's an overnighter, I'll carry an Algene bottle with graduated measurements on the side of it, because it just makes life easier. Everything that you need to mix with water, I like to be precise. That's a litre. These are 200 ml or 7 fluid ounces, and I take one every night, because the thing with dehydration is by the time you notice it, it's too late. You kind of already have it. So if you start noticing headaches or discoloration in your urine or weakness or dizziness, taking a diorite, alright, it will stem the effects and help fend it off, but you're already dehydrated. So I find that at the end of a hike, or maybe if we stop and have some lunch, I'll just throw a diorite into me, or if I'm drinking my water and I find that I'm down to the 200 ml mark before I fill my water up again, quick one of these solves an awful lot of hassle. So I'd recommend them in everybody's kit. More water purification tablets, an antiseptic wipe, antidiuretics. Don't need no explaining there. We've all had MREs and dodgy grub. So that's just what I carry in the back here. Cotton bandana is the divider. Orange bandana, 101 uses. There's a bit of material left over from the last time I was charring. Again, this is an honest dump. It's not I haven't dickied this up before I made the video. I carry a pocket bellows. This was given to me again by Tom Malloy. We were on a camp in Waterford, and I'm not normally a gimmicky, gadgety kind of guy, but he had this with him, and it was a gift, an absolute gift. We were in an area with no wind and kept having to restoke the fire, and this just made life very handy. And he gave this one to me. It means a lot to me, so thank you, Tom. That's always in my hip pouch. I carry bank line 60 foot because I find I never have enough. I genuinely never have enough cordage for things I want to practice. Plus, I carry my hip pouch as a supplement to my haversack, and I find that when I get to a camp, especially if I'm with hammock campers, I bedroll, but you're scattered about the woods, and you could be over at the fire, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna hang my pot up, and you've already brought all the stuff over to the fire, and then you got to go back to your bag. Again, not a big deal, but I just don't like it. If I'm standing by the fire, or if I'm off on a bit of a wander and I want to make something, it's just nice to have it on the hip. So there's 60 foot of extra cordage. This isn't my main cordage, it's extra cordage. So backup cordage, some jute twine. Again, if I'm out on a hike, there's enough for 2 or 3 birds' nests here. Sometimes I go out with my son and stuff like that, and we just go for a wander in the woods, and it's nice just to be able to have a fire on you. Medical tape, again, it's all coming out of here, so in case there's any doubt. Some snare wire. Now, I don't use this for snares. I use this as a quick way of sometimes making tripods and stuff. I was on a camp with Darcy Steins from Man of the Woods Bushcraft and Roy Gallagher from Paracord, Ireland, and they showed me the many uses of having steel wire there. So it's just a small amount of it, and some live wire. This stuff was fantastic. It's probably the first thing I got when I got into prepping and bugging out and building my bug out bag. Is this? It's just in Ireland, it's damp, it's miserable sometimes, and it's just nice to have a quick, easy form. And the great thing about these, unlike the Zippo Quicks and stuff like that, is reusable. So you can, like a candle, you can light it. You can light your tinder bundle off it and just close it up, and you got another couple of fires in there. Now they're expensive, but they're just nice to have in the kit. Christmas is coming. Put it on your list. Right, 17 minutes. We're nearly there. So the last 2 items, bag empty, is my Hudson Bay tin and my strikers. I don't keep them together because this lens gets scratched up. Even if you have a plastic bag or something in there, I've seen people carry it, the lens will get scratched, and I just don't like the idea of my lens getting scratched up. But I've become predominant enough that this is really my fire starting methods in most cases. I'd use a ferro rod, or I'd use my strikers. So just a quick look at this. I keep them in here because they're tinder. It's meant to be dry. Piece of fat wood, some of these things. My friend John Creeby gave them to me. I don't know where they came from, but they're really cool. They're nice to take a spark grey, and my flint and steel for doing the business. I actually must nap the edge on this, but I could ask if anybody is watching this that I actually need a bigger piece of flint. This is the only piece of flint I have, and I would love a bigger piece if anybody is willing to hook me up with some. So flint, striker, jute jar. And when you take most of the medical stuff out of it, the plasters and the bits and the bobs, I'm left with my pocket bellows, some cordage, a compass, and this, and that's all I really need. But like I said, my pack supplements everything that I do. And next time I'm going to try, as you can see, I have a patina on this that people don't ask me about, but it's because I set my tin on fire. I've seen so many people make videos where they strike into the tin, and one day I struck into the tin, and all the char just went up. It was a bit of a breezy day, and the breeze just caught the char, and woof, up she went. And I also one day I was practicing solar ignition with my friends Colin and Jeff, out in lockdown, and I had the magnifying glass up, and I was holding it into the tin. Back in the early days when I was practicing charcloth, I mean, a master is just a man who's made every mistake, and I was holding it there. I was like, this isn't igniting. There's no way this is igniting. And then I just blew on it a little bit, and all the char went up in flames, and I tried to snuff it out, and it ended up getting this nice patina because the container became so hot I couldn't touch it. So now I use John Bishop's method of where I just use the cap. I put some char in it, hit it into the bird's nest. Everyone's a winner. But a great piece of kit. Some people often argue that they're just for aesthetics, and those bushcrafters, and all want to look all pioneery and stuff like that. But these are actually really handy, even if you don't use char. And 20 minutes. When people go to look for these are available from Living Wilderness Bushcraft. Jay Odison and Kilkenny Knife and Tool can get them in. But if you want, you can go onto eBay. And what I got confused is I thought they were called Hudson Bay things, which they are, but they're made by a guy called Ted Collins. Now again, you can see his maker's mark on the back. So when you go to eBay, some people see Ted Collins tins or Ted Collins reproduction tins, but these are the actual Hudson Bay tins that everybody sells. The Living Wilderness and the Pathfinder School and some of the UK bushcraft stores. So I mean, sometimes you can get lucky and you can go onto eBay and you can find one of these. I think I got mine for €25, 30 euro, from the States. So, and Beaver Bushcraft also sell them too in England. They make leather pouches and stuff for them. But a great piece of kit, I'd highly recommend. Let me see now, is that everything? Yeah, that's everything. So the pouches empty there. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Always something. Matches in a striker. But I really loved the other videos, and I'd like to see. I'm going to call out some guys. John Bishop already done his. I'd like to see Darstein's Man of the Woods Bushcraft. He has his own YouTube channel. I'd like to see his. Dermot Farmer. I haven't seen any response videos from Dermot. Maybe he's also too busy, but I'd like to see what he carries. Jay Odinson. Everybody. I'd like to do a quick video. I mean, I'm always curious to what. There's some great guys out there like Shane Phelan, Cody, who's also an admin of the page. I'd love to see all your kits. If you think I can make any improvements or should add or take away stuff, it's how I learn. I'd like to see other people's kits. And thanks for watching. I know these videos are a bit long and a bit rambly, but I appreciate it. And we'll talk soon.